Hello, my name is Elliot Susel, and I'm the VP of Product and Technology at Trustify. Today I'll be showing you a brief demo illustrating the functionality of our consumer and investigator applications. We'll begin in the consumer app by simulating the creation of a new case. This starts by providing some cursory information about the nature of the case, and then by providing contact information. This enables us to contact a customer even if they ultimately abandon later in the flow. Next, based on the type of case that they selected in step 1, we give them a high-level estimate of the level of effort required to complete the case. We've found that this is particularly helpful for converting new customers because generally a new customer doesn't understand the level of effort it will take to complete their case. Lastly, we collect credit card information. While we do charge the card at the time of booking the case, this amount is fully refundable through their consultation with their investigator. And so if they have that consultation and decide that they don't want to proceed, they can then let us know and get a full refund. At this stage, we require the customer to create a password so that they can log into their account using that password and their email address. Then we collect the core case information that the investigator will ultimately use to complete the investigation. This information was too detailed to collect earlier since it might cause customers to abandon in the order flow. As much as possible in our onboarding flow and in the case flow, we try to collect the right information at the right time. The particular case that we've decided to showcase here is one in which a parent is concerned that the nanny they've hired isn't taking great care of their children. This sort of case is not uncommon and allows us to illustrate the entire end-to-end functionality. Upon completion, we put the customer directly into the screen that they'll use to chat with their investigator. And we're very transparent with them that the investigators are now reviewing their case and one of them will accept the case before they can proceed. Now, before we go any further in this customer's journey, I wanted to take a moment to just highlight that all of this information is captured in our backend, which has a user interface that enables us to edit, update, and modify any of the information as needed on the fly. We have the complete and total ability to manage and collaborate around this case to ensure that it is successful. The case is now available for our investigators to review and accept in the Investigator app. You see an example of that here, and immediately upon accepting, the investigator can now see all of the details of the case. Further, the investigator can now consult the customer in real time about their case. And the customer has received a notification in their app that the investigator has accepted the case and is there to talk with them. For the purpose of this demo, we've included the sort of dialogue that is typical of a first interaction between an investigator and a consumer. The key outcome of this consultation is not only the customer understanding fully what the process will be, but also helping the investigator to arrive at an accurate estimate for the duration of the case or about how much time it's going to take them to complete the case. This is something that is very critical for appropriately setting the customer's expectations, which in turn ultimately will determine whether or not the case will be successful in the eyes of that customer. We require the investigator to then enter that estimate so that we have a copy of it and we push that number formally to the customer. But then also the investigator sets the start date and time, also critical from an administrative standpoint. Each of these activities helps build transparency around the entire process of completing the case, and that transparency typically does not exist today. As we can see here, the customer now agrees to the start date and time that the investigator has set, and then they're off to the races. And as a part of using our application, we require the investigator to flag when they start and stop work, and we show this to the customer. Once again, building transparency around when an investigator is in fact working on the case. From this point forward, the investigator completes the case, and we've shown what the dialogue might have looked like for this particular case. They'll inform the customer that they'll be sending them a report with their final conclusions, and then ultimately they go into the investigator app and mark the case completed. What we've created so far is really just the beginning. There is so much opportunity to add features and functionality that make conducting and purchasing an investigation incredibly easy and transparent.